I love Anila, so it's the perfect time to talk about her since we're getting into the December cozy winter holiday season. She has a perfect design with just such a cool aesthetic, a super sick cape coat. I love capes, I love coats, and she has a cute personality. And no, I'm not going to mention her titties. This is the only time I'm going to do that in this video. The FGC is getting out of hand, especially Twitch chat. They ever see some big booties on screen or some big titties, they're like, oh my gosh. So we're not gonna do that today. But whatever, I like them too, okay? Moving on. Seriously though, Anila has such a sick design, but there is one big problem. She is boring as to play. I hope you Anila players can at least understand that this is coming from the heart. This is coming from a place of love. I too am a draft enjoyer. And if this character had sauce, I'd probably be with y'all too. I've been salty about this for a while, so I've broken down why she feels so unbearably boring to play in this game into a few categories. Her abilities, buttons, conversion ability, and game plan. Before that though, let's state the obvious. Whether or not you think something is boring is completely subjective and personal preference, so understand I'm mixing my opinions with some facts here, okay? Let's not shit ourselves, okay? Take it with a grain of salt. If you have fun playing her, that's fine. Keep doing you. I'm talking about why I don't like her. Now, a weak character is probably going to be just less fun for most people to play than a strong character, just how it is. And in the wise words of myself, I just want to do shit. Strong characters let you get away with just doing shit. But it's not like Anila is completely neutered in that department, so let's check out what's going on with their abilities. When we talk about characters, kits, and Granblue, you can categorize the pure Shotos by how neutered their abilities are. So you have Gran with the boot, the fireball, and the DP, right? That's what you're playing around with. And that is honestly mad boring. In other words, ABC gameplay. We might be the simple input grandbabies and we're pampered, which I love by the way, but this is as baby mode as it gets when you're playing Gran. But then, you know, Anila, she has some sauce, a little bit of sauce sprinkled on into that. She has the fireball, the DP, but then you get a hot move, and the Ride of the Sheep. Shout out my boy Kai Kisuke, by the way, which is honestly one of the most fun and cool moves in her kit, and especially the ultimate version. Unfortunately, that is the end of my compliments on her abilities. The fireball is always a great tool to have in these kind of games, but with Anila, it's like they took a baseball bat to her brain cells and said, you cannot move until you've watched the sheep run 10 miles away from you, like some Squid Game red light, green light bullshit. It just has the worst recovery, I swear. It's still a nice tool, but she is pretty slow to recover, and it's basically a free jump in if you're anticipating it, which is why you don't really want to use it in like those middle ranges most of the time. But the ultimate version though is pretty saucy, genuinely. It's basically just saying hold that while 3 sheep run at the opponent, which is always really nice to be able to say hold that in this game. It gives you a pretty good amount of time to just run at the opponent. But someone like Siegfried can do that in literally one button. Come on guys, she needs 50 meter. What are we doing here? Then there's her hop, and just do not get me started on this move. This is the move that makes me actually cry about Anila, because every version of this move is literally just the fattest free anti-air I've ever seen in my life. It's actually just the Babies R Us version of a jump in. Maybe it would be solid if the cross-up was real, but obviously just hold the block button. Left-right mix is not real in this game, so we cry in our sleep. And once she presses the hop, she's committed to it. So just don't try to tell me this move is fire, because you're actually just coping at that point. The only cool thing I've seen for this ability is like gimmicky setups, but there's maybe a couple real safe jumps you can do or some shit, but it's pretty ass. The ultimate version, I swear, is even worse than before. Like, yeah, you're +2 if they block it, but it's also just ridiculously slow, dude. It's a free anti-air on all of them, I promise you. Her DP is a pretty good standard DP, which can be really difficult to punish sometimes because she doesn't have to go into the air like other characters. So it's nice, and I'm not really going to talk about it too much because it's just a good standard DP, which is actually really nice to have in this game. Then finally, there's her Ride the Sheep move, which is genuinely where the sauce is at on this character. The counterplay isn't super free, and although she's negative on all versions, she's spaced pretty nicely, with such that you get some buttons. When you see people though do like light sheep into pressing light, and then they spam it, light sheep, 5L, light sheep, 5L. Come on, that's fake, guys, that's mash, bro. Come on, guys. So fake gimmicks like that, you can figure it out and just like mash or do stuff against it. It's not broken, but it is one of her better moves. You can also, on Anila, hop off the sheep early and send a little fireball, which is pretty cool. But the problem with this ability I will get to later. Alone, it's quite good. The real sexy sauce is in the ultimate version of this ability though, where it pops them up on hit and lets you get a fatty combo. It's the ultimate conversion tool, genuinely, if you can use it. Easily her best tool, I would say, but everything else in comparison is honestly kind of weak, which is sad. That brings me into Anila's buttons, and I wouldn't say that they're necessarily anything special. They're generally a little bit more on the slower end, which sucks, but it's not the end of the world. And the standout buttons from them, I would say, are 66H, her unique skill, and 2U. 66H is a really powerful tool. It lunges at the opponent, and as long as you're not spacing it super shit, it'll be safe on block. The only issue is you only get reward for this off a counter hit, where you get some pretty nice damage if you have resources. I do feel like this is one of her stronger tools in theory, but it's just hard to get a counter hit on good players because they're not going to be mashing at you in longer ranges, and if you do catch them running, I mean, it's not a counter hit, so it doesn't matter really. But sure, you know, we can give her this one. This is a pretty good move, honestly. Then there's her unique skill, which is this walking wheel of hits that you can end early for another hit, but it's okay. I mean, if you do the extra hit, you're punishable, -6, which sucks, but this ability feels just honestly kind of useless, except for like baby combos mid-screen. Then her holy crap. Then her 2U is actually one of her better normals. It's pretty cheap. That long pull on the floor. Oops, sorry, that was mine, guys. Holy shit, that was actually such a bad joke. But it's difficult to convert that long pull shit on the floor into anything meaningful unless you have 50 meter. It's just very inconsistent. Which again is like, wow, that's a great tool being gatekept by needing something else to make up for it, like a counter hit or meter. And that brings me perfectly into Anila's weak conversion ability. Speaking of conversion ability, it is one thing to have simplistic tools or a simple game plan, but it's another thing when your strong tools and regular B&Bs require crystal conversions or meter or counter hits. This character clearly has that down bad, bro. She has terrible conversion ability. I mean, come on, this is literally like the sin of Anila right here. Other characters are twerking on you for free when they do their bullshit, but Anila, to get meaningful reward off her hits, really does need to like use resources to get those conversions. And sometimes she doesn't even get any reward at all. And from what I've heard about Anila players, that is their #1 gripe on playing this character, which is pretty understandable, as like one less crystal is one less brave counter in this meta, and you're using meter in spots where other characters wouldn't even be forced to. Finally, I want to talk about Anila's game plan and her playstyle. When you put everything together in a character, it all comes down to how it feels when you play them and how their tools actually get used. In other words, a character incentivizes you to have a certain playstyle based on what abilities that they have are the strongest, right? I feel like because of her abilities, her pressure is quite simple. I mean, what are you really doing after a 6XL besides enforcing just basic baby strike throw, right? You have a plus on block EX Fireball, which is nice, but your bullshit options are just not there at a close range. This causes you to want to play at longer ranges, but your reward isn't even that meaningful when you get stuff off at long ranges. It's like, okay, side games, what are we doing here, buddy? Because it's like nearly every ability Anila has, I feel like you could name a character that just does it better. And I guess every game needs a bottom tier and a top tier. So here we are with Anila. Anila is a super cool character regardless, and with some hints of light at the end of the tunnel for her, because she has some solid abilities there, you know? They're not shitty abilities. They just need some tweaks to make her feel more strong at what she's supposed to be doing. Besides the hop though, okay? Like that move, you can't save that. That is an ass move, bro. Revamp it completely. I think all these things are a big part of why she's not fun for me, as well as not having bullshit rushdown neutral tools, but I can't make that into an actual video, dude. Imagine just being like, oh, she's not Slayer from Guilty Gear. Like, I can't really say that. That's low-key the reason I don't like her. I really do like this character's design, and I think she has a lot of potential, so this isn't hate on the character. If anything, I just want more people to enjoy Granblue and to enjoy this character too. So if we can highlight some of the weaknesses with her and some of the reasons why I think she's boring, maybe she can get some buffs. Boredom, though, is just subjective, so at the end of the day, if you're having fun with her, again, more power to you. I'm just trying to have a little cope session, a little vent session, so don't shit yourself. Bye!